You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 2687.
Oh, let me tell you something. I am so sick of Washington and all its works, all them politicians down there and them congressmen. I'll bet you won't find none of them congressmen signing down their electric blankets tonight. Which if they did, their secretaries would get up and go home.
We gotta do something. Absolutely. You know what we gotta do? Toga party.
Toga! 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 Toga!
Click, click, boom! I'm coming down on the stereo, put me on the radio. Click, click, boom!
I want you to kill every golfer on the course. Check me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but if I kill all the golfers, they're gonna lock me up and throw away the key.
Well, all right. It's Friday night. This is Robinson and I. We're coming to you live right now from KLRNradio.com, where we do this thing every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern-ish, because usually I'm fighting something and it doesn't want to start on time. Or I don't realize that I hadn't actually started the electronic communication between myself and my co-host, who is in another state, and I'm sitting here talking to myself for 5 minutes, wondering why he's not answering me. This is my life, folks. Good evening. How are you? I'm joined by Mr. Dan Wright, the other half of the crew. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. It's Friday.
This is true.
It's been a rough week. For a holiday in the middle of the week, I'm deciding that that's like the worst week.
You know, me too. I have to admit. The feeling like a Monday on a Wednesday is like the most terrible thing ever, because usually, you know, by Wednesday you're getting the groove on, you're halfway through the week, and you're like, okay, I can do this. Like, having a regular Monday, having the day off, and then coming back to a Wednesday that feels like a Monday, and then even worse, a Thursday that feels like a Tuesday. I was just angry all week. I mean, seriously, I was just like, dude, I don't want to be here right now. I don't want to. I just want to go home. I think part of what made it worse for me, though, is both wife's been on vacation for like 10 days, and I'm like, I don't like you right now, because I keep having to get up and go to work in the morning, and you're still over there in the bed, and I'm like, you suck. But anyway. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
I had to work Monday, and Monday was a nightmare. And then I got Tuesday off. But, you know, I had a good time on the 4th of July. I did. But somewhere in the back of my mind, the whole time I was thinking, I already know what my nightmare is tomorrow. Because it started on Monday. So it was like Saturday off, Sunday off, work Monday, off Tuesday, and knowing I had a nightmare on Wednesday. And the nightmare just continued through today. So, here I am, but it's the weekend, and we're here.
This is true. I mean, it could be worse. You know, it could be like me and Jen last night, because, you know, she's been traveling all week, and we hadn't talked, so, like, 9:02 my time, I'm like, hey, were we supposed to be off tonight? And she's like, no, not really. I promise I'm firing up the computer right now. I'm like, are you sure? Because I really wouldn't mind, because it's been a really long week. And then I was like, well, and then she's like, well, I am pretty tired. So I'm like, okay, cool. So maybe I'll do like an early version of my show and then go to bed early. And then I started prepping it, and I'm like, you know what? I have worked my tail end off for what should have been a really short week. I have like crammed about 50 hours worth of work into a 32-hour work week, on top of all the stuff that I'm doing when I'm not at work. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just done for the night, because, you know, we actually, for those of you, I told you we were going to have an announcement. I finally get to make the announcement. We're still finalizing everything, because I have to get their billing information put into the system and get them sent over. But America Off the Rails, and pretty much by proxy, any show that I either co-host or produce on, officially has a sponsor. We have just signed Liberty Health Share. So yay! That's been like 6 months worth of work that's finally done, because it's like, they were back and forth, and we finally got it done. So yay, we actually, it's not our first sponsor, but it's one of the biggest ones we've picked up, so we're kind of happy about this one. So starting next week, you'll actually hear me start talking about them, because we don't officially start till Monday. So don't be surprised if I start sounding like one of those big guys and be like, our sponsor this half hour. Yeah, no, anyway. But yeah, we'll have to start doing that, I guess. All right, so before we have to get all official and start actually trying to make money and do this stuff for a living, lots of stuff to talk about in the news. Mostly CNN and the fact that they should really just remove the last two letters from their name because they don't really count as a news network anymore. They should be like the crime mafia family. So what, CMF? That would probably work.
Yeah, they're horrible. I mean, look, a guy makes a GIF, whatever you want to call it. I call it a GIF. From a video of Donald Trump at a WWE event, body slamming somebody, and he photoshopped CNN as the head of who he was body slamming.
It was Vince McMahon.
Yeah. But CNN gets all, I won't say it, they get all hurt over it. Like, it's inciting violence against their people. Whatever. It's, you know what? It's a GIF. It's just a stupid GIF. I mean, get over yourselves. So they hunt the guy down. They try to figure out who he is. And I'm not going to say this guy's a great guy, whatever. Apparently he had some nasty stuff on his Reddit account. But you know what? You're an international news network. You're going to let it goes between 15 and 18 years old. You're going to let some teenager just completely and totally intimidate you to the point where you need to threaten him with posting and putting out all of his personal information? Really? You're a multi-billion-dollar company. Really, no attention would have been paid to it. I mean, other than the fact that the President of the United States tweeted it out. But other than that, the attention paid to it was because of your reaction to it. And all it did was make everybody on the internet, whether they liked you before this all happened or not, make more memes and GIFs. That's all it did.
Yes.
Everybody wants CNN to go after them now.
So
I mean, it's ridiculous.
So just for fun, and I did this the other night, but so since CNN has such a big issue with GIFs, and we can't really do GIFs on the radio, I kind of broke down this entire thing into a few sound bites. So the dude makes the GIF, right? And then CNN's all like, "Are you threatening me?" And then he's like, "Well, no." And then they're like, "Well,
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too."
So then all of Twitter finds out what's going on, and then you hear folks like Ted Cruz and most of Twitter piping up, and they kind of sound a little bit like this.
Breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
And then CNN kind of sounds like this. I am the law! It's basically, that's the whole day on Twitter. That was all going on.
It's not even just Twitter. It's everywhere. I mean, honestly, you're a multi-billion-dollar company, and you're already embroiled in a huge 175-person class action discrimination lawsuit. Just shut up. Shut up. I mean, at one time, CNN was pretty freaking cool. You know, if you go all the way back to the first Iraq War, CNN was pretty freaking cool. You were getting, video and reporters on the ground in Iraq, and it was pretty freaking cool. CNN is a joke. MSNBC is a joke. And to a certain extent, really, Fox News is a joke. I mean, I think Fox News still, I'm not a big fan, but still, they have people like Brett Baer and Dana Perino, and even to an extent, Tucker Carlson, just because he's entertaining. And he does, you know, he's pretty fair. And Greg Gutfeld.
I was going to say,
fair.
I was going to give you a chance to see if you'd mention him. You got to mention Gutfeld, man. I love me some Gutfeld. Actually, he went on a bit of a Twitter rant recently, which was kind of entertaining too.
Oh, what? Which one? I mean, there's been a couple, but one was the Sherry Jacobus rant.
Yeah, the Sherry Jacobus rant that actually made twitchy, and then the lovable Foo that we both know and love, who's now a host on the station again, was like freaking out because he was like all sharing her article, and she's like, "Oh my god, he shared it." And I'm like, "I don't like you. Go away."
Well, but yeah, I mean, the whole, you know, I understand, and I defended her a lot through the election. I understand Sherry Jacobus really got attacked by Trump supporters. I get that. But to basically go after Greg Gutfeld for being bigoted and anti-Semitic is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, because he defends what CNN... He defends against what CNN did to this guy for that gift. That was the focus of what Greg Gutfeld was going after. That was the focus. She sits there and goes after him and says, "Oh, so you're just defending all of his anti-Semitic remarks?" And he was like, "No, I'm not. I'm defending this right here." And she was like, "No, if you defend him, you defend everything he's ever said." That's basically what Sherry Jacobus said. You defend everything he's ever said in his entire life and everything he's ever posted and everything else. If you defend this one thing, you defend everything ever that the guy said.
Well,
I mean, that's ridiculous.
I mean, no, you're right. It's ridiculous, but bear with me for a second, because hasn't that actually become politics? Because look at the stuff that you and I go through on a regular basis. When we defend Trump because he does something right, then we're supporting every crazy thing he's ever done. When we denounce Trump because he's done something wrong or try to speak out against something that we don't think that he should have done, we're suddenly detracting from everything that he's done that was correct. And I'm just like, look, that's not how this works, guys. And that's the part that I don't really think anybody gets anymore. We have become so polarized that it's either you're 100% for or you're 100% against. I've even, and this is somebody that I like, but I've even heard somebody on local stations here recently talking about how being middle of the road doesn't work because then you get run over because traffic's coming at you from both angles. That doesn't work in the world of politics. You can't be extremely one side or the other. You can't. I mean, you can, but there still has to be a counterbalance, because if you're going to go too far to one side, then somebody else has to be on the other side to balance you out. And to try to give people an example, and this is something my grandfather used to say to me all the time, so flashing back to the hashtag last night, signs that you were old. A bird with two left wings can't fly straight because it's going to go in a circle if it's able to get off the ground at all. Same with a bird with two right wings. Nature doesn't like extremes. Neither should political parties. Honestly, if you listen to the original intent of George Washington, there should have been no political parties. There should be nothing but voting for somebody that you've listened to their ideals, you understand what they're saying, you agree with their plan, and you vote for them so that they can move it forward. That was the extent of what a lot of our founders wanted. These political parties and these groups and these cliques, they were never intended, because that's the same stuff that we had that they left. I mean, if you look at Great Britain, they have 400 million political parties? And if you don't get enough of your side, you got to build this freaking coalition that takes you forever to get anything done. And then if you don't get the coalition built, you run a good chance of being ousted, even though you won the election. That's the stuff that our founding fathers were trying to get away from, and it's the stuff that we have slowly been drugged back into. But now it's even worse because there's this guise of two parties when really they're kind of just the same, and it's annoying and it's scary.
They are. Well, it's really three parties, and I said it to somebody. I think it was last night. I said, you have the left. They're socialism. You have the right, which is socialism light. And then you have the libertarians, which are somewhere in the middle. And what does that leave us with? Socialism. That leaves us with socialism, which is absolutely and positively not what the founding fathers wanted. It's, you know, you and I had it yesterday, in a thread on Twitter. I mean, actually, it may have been today, where a guy literally said the Constitution of the United States is trash and it should be thrown away. No, it's what this country was founded on. What it needs to do is it needs to be adhered to, and it's not being adhered to. The Constitution is not being adhered to by most of Washington. That's where the problem was. Well, then I get that's it. The people are the problem. Well, yeah, you're right. The people are the problem. But people like you and people like me are not the problem. We're the ones that want the Constitution adhered to. But how do you wake up the masses? Honestly, how do you wake up the masses? And this was a thread, and in the show tweet tonight, which I wrote, by the way, I said something about it because you and I were involved in this. We got involved in a very long, it's still going on as far as I know, thread with a bunch of anarchists. And I understand where they're coming from. They do not believe in the Constitution because they think the Constitution has failed us. In a way, I understand that. There weren't and there aren't, and nobody could have foreseen it when it was written, real safeguards against where we are now. That I get. Doesn't mean I don't believe in the Constitution. We still need to get back to that. They want it dismissed. They want rule by the people, which does not work. Rule by the people does not work. Look at countries in Africa. All rule by the people brings forth is warlords, because it's human nature. I want to be the leader. I want to be the leader. Doesn't work. The Constitution is a fantastic guideline to running a government. And this country has gotten away from it. This country has gotten away from what it was founded on. We need to get back to that. And you know, a couple of the people in this thread we were in, I've connected with, and we've seen eye to eye. And you said it, and I said it. I'm a minarchist. I believe in limited government, but we do need a government. They believe in no government. But a lot of the things we've talked about in this thread, we all agree on. And a couple of these people, we've actually followed each other back. And I've had some really good interaction in it. Some of them are crazy. They're just nuts. Some of them want to talk. And it's been really interesting to talk to them. And they don't call themselves anarchists. They call themselves volunteerists, which is kind of It's a pretty good name for them because the way they believe everything should run is you volunteer your time, you volunteer your efforts, and everybody works together and everybody helps out and everybody supports each other. And that's a good thing. But what they don't realize is you still need a centralized government. Because if you don't have a centralized government, there is no infrastructure, there is no military. You have no infrastructure, no military, everything falls apart. So they're not too far from the way you and I think, but they don't understand the need for a centralized government.
Yeah, but and see, here's the thing, because you're right. Actually, I think I have one of them that's going to be coming on the show with me Wednesday, just to give them a chance to try to explain their positions without all the crazy yelling and the screaming that always seems like it happens on social media. I understand what they're saying, but I don't agree with it because they really don't seem to understand human nature.
No, they don't, and that, I've said that to them, and like I said, and the gentleman that wants to come on with you, he's not one of them. I mean, that I really had some good conversation with, and I get what they're saying, I do, but again, number one, out of probably somewhere between 12 and 20 of them that have jumped into this thread and left the thread, they contradict each other. I mean, they went after me and said, I started the thread by saying I was an anarchist until I turned 18.